ready to get into another interesting business conversation today, bro. Another interesting. I thought the last conversation was good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was good. We got some positive feedback from it as well. So I think, we're going in the right track. I think it's good to talk about the early stages and hence, my focus today is kind of like pretty much on you.
Yeah,
So the audience have an idea of like, because obviously you're still new into your journey, to a certain point. But also I want you to kind of explain the steps you took. So you touched on last episode how you came to that definite conclusion that this is the journey you wanted to do. You wanted to do an educator in trading. You
yeah,
want to go back into do the 9 to 5.
yeah.
So yeah, so before we touch on your steps, what I would like you to kind of explain to me, or your feedback, because I actually think trading and education has like a mixed reputation.
Yeah,
If
well,
people think like you're selling some courses and trying to generate money from that way because you don't really make money really from trading and kind of
right,
bagging it.
right,
So,
right.
and even when we kind of met up, this is what I was trying to suss out from you as well. So I'll be
Right.
transparent. I was like, are you just chatting rubbish to me? Or are you going to kind of, what's the courses, what not? Obviously. So yeah, so I just want to, what's your
So
perception? How do you convince people?
well, this is a really, really brilliant question, and I get asked this question all the time. But if I can, I know this is not a good way to talk, but let me just throw back one question to you.
Go on, hear me.
When you were going through that process of sussing out, is this guy just going to sell me a course, or does he really know what he's talking about? Has he really got experience in this? What has your outcome been now that you've been through this journey with me?
Yeah.
What what how's your viewpoint changed on that?
It's, I think it's, for me, initially when we approached is if you were pushy, if you
Okay.
were constantly kind of selling me the dream, which you wasn't selling me the dream. You wasn't
Yeah.
saying I'm going to be making millions or thousands or whatever.
Yeah.
And you wasn't pushy. Even when we spoke about it, it was more of a kind of like a natural conversation. You just told me what you
Right.
did.
Right.
So it didn't feel, I was more intrigued by it
Okay.
when you said it. I was like, okay, cool, and I was asking you more questions. And
Yeah.
your approach to me was what gave me the confidence to have further conversations with yourself.
Brilliant.
So, and I think that's where that was the key. And I think just obviously doing the courses with you or not, what makes me obviously confident and obviously happy with the outcome and the journey we're going on regarding you educating me on how to trade
Mm-hmm.
was your passion for it. You could
Okay.
see that you are very passionate for it and you definitely understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned. And
I
also
appreciate.
you're not selling me the dream. You're being
No,
realistic on the concept as well. So yeah.
I think there's too many people on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, who are flying in their private jets, flashing the bags and
Yeah,
flashing
yeah.
watches and the bands as they call it, another band, 100K here. I mean, I see some crazy stuff on Instagram of people trying to sell the dream. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the people that fall for that are usually the people that are just money hungry. They're just
Yeah.
chasing the pound or in a position of really great need and just looking for some type of way out and think that trading is going to be it when trading is not going to be it. Trading is not the
Yeah.
way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was
Um,
having a conversation with a really lovely young lady yesterday, who is going through a moment in her work where she's likely to be made redundant. And she's saying, well, all right, so I need to start trading. She knows nothing at this stage. She's at absolutely zero.
okay.
And my advice to her is, look, trading is not good, is not going to be your savior. This is not going to be the way out. You need to
Mm,
secure an income first. And
yeah.
trading is going to provide firstly a little drip, then a little bit, maybe the tap might open a little bit, but it's not the thing that's going to rescue your life. So for me personally, the reason why I love teaching and trading is because the concept of taking one thing and making multiple streams of income from it is just, I love it. I love the
Yeah.
idea that I can be in a room, talk to somebody about trading and receive an income for that. Or I can sit at my desk, analyze my charts, enter a trade, walk away, make some money from that. Or I can build a business,
Yeah.
share some knowledge. And to be honest with you, I think a business is much more scalable and ultimately much more reliable than the financial markets, if that makes sense. If
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes
But
sense.
I mean, the financial market is basically based on businesses doing what you're taking
It,
a risk on
correct.
their business, and then so theoretically, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And I've got
but
some great trading. I've got some great trading strategies, but these trading strategies work a percentage of the time. And so a
yeah,
percentage of the time, they're, you know, even though I'm looking at my screen over here where I've got a chart, right? So even a percentage of the time, even though it's a great looking setup, I
mm,
like how that looks. Everything looks nice and neat. It still might fail. For
yeah,
whatever for reasons outside of my own control.
yeah. Mm,
So yeah, I love trading, but the idea of making multiple streams of income from one skill set,
mm.
I think is you can't beat it really for me.
I mean that's business. When you obviously have a business, and depending on what your services are, you're going to try and see if you can offer services, offer more
Yes.
services within that one stream of income.
Yeah.
Um, but also with the what I've learned actually through you and just actually doing this training, I don't actually think it's for everyone. I don't think it's something
Really?
where there some people can kind of naturally like lock onto and understand. I really don't. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I have, for example, I've probably told one or two people that I'm doing this, and they were like, "Oh, I'm interested," and whatnot. And I just thought to myself, like, knowing that person, I don't think you'll get it.
Mm.
Not necessarily saying they won't. I'm not disparaging, but I just don't think it's for everyone. So, have you ever come across someone that you have to say, you know what, it's not for you? We're going to turn,
Broski, it's a referral for me, man. Let me
you
decide.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah.
You don't decide
I
that, man.
love it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. Yeah, you're
make
right.
make
Yeah,
the
yeah.
connection, bro. Come on, man. That's income, broski.
Man, you know what? I should have thought about that. And it's terrible, isn't it? Absolutely terrible. I
Right,
should make
but
that decision. I'm gonna make a decision for
I'll
it.
let me make that decision. But the question is valid. The question is very valid. I've met a number of people actually who, for whatever reason, they it's not for them. They may
Mm,
be more of a gambler than a rational thinker. They may be desperate for whoever is in a position of real need. There's a lot of people in need at the moment,
yeah,
Joel. Man,
yeah,
it's tough for some people out there at the moment, right? And
yeah,
I think we've got to be conscious of that. So whoever's in a position of real need, like, oh my God, how am I paying my bills at the end of the month? What am I doing? There's people at my door. For anyone who's in that state, trading is absolutely not for you now.
mm,
That's not to say that they can't learn it,
yeah,
but it's such a mental game. It's such a mental game that you got to be balanced. You've got to be
mhm,
confident. You've got to be bold. You've got to be brave. You can't be hunting for the money, right? You got
yeah,
to be in a position of you got to be in a stable position before trading is really gonna work for you. So yes, I met lots of people for whom this is just not the right thing, or it's not the right time. Yeah, maybe it's the right
okay,
thing, but not the right time. There are some people I've taught. Oh my God, Joel, I've taught some people. I've taught some people, man.
yeah,
But I've taught a couple people, and I don't say this often, but you're hopeless, hopeless. Don't stand a chance.
yeah, yeah,
And now, what's really interesting with that, Joel, that becomes a kind of a moral kind of a little bit of a conflict, because, for example, I'm thinking about this individual who's got no chance to succeed
yeah,
for whatever reason,
mhm,
whatever the reason might be. What do I do as a business person? Well, as a business person, I'm like, okay, well, if you want to pay for the gym subscription and not go to the gym, that's up to you. Pay.
yeah, of course, yeah,
It's up to you to go to the gym. It's up to you
mm,
to do the work. It's up to you to study.
yeah,
But you're never going to be a bodybuilder. You're never going to look great. You're just too fat. Whatever it might
yeah,
be, right?
yeah,
Um, but what do you do in this industry where somebody's just not going to succeed? Do you continue to take their money, or do you say, look, I think you should get your life sorted out first? And that's what I ended up doing. I'm like, this is not the right time for you. In this
mm,
particular, I'm thinking of one particular instance where I was like,
okay.
we need to stop this because it's not the right time for you. But I don't know if that was the right decision. Maybe I should have just taken the money.
You know what? I think it'll always be your moral compass if you want to continue doing it, because at the end of the day, the problem with your your field, your educator, so there has to be outcomes.
Yes.
There has to be some form of feedback or positive feedback or proven outcomes, and then therefore justify that what you're doing is correct. Because
Hmm.
an educator in any form is
Correct.
about, am I able to take this possessive person to A to B? Will they be able to understand as
Correct.
well? So I think it's morally based on how you feel. So but then regarding that journey, so let's say for example, do you have an assessment in your head? So when you're talking to someone like a potential customer, before you even take that money, do you have an idea before you say, okay, yes, I'm going to do it, or are you just going to wing it and see?
No, so I've always got an idea of how of what somebody's aptitude is. I've always got an idea at the start of
Mm.
the journey. Some people have got greater aptitude than others, in the same way that some people's more of a sports person than another person might be. Some people have got aptitude for music than another person might be, but anybody can learn. So I go in with a viewpoint of, you're right, this person got there's some good aptitude there. She's going to be good. He's going to be good.
Mm.
My aim then is to maximize that potential in the fastest possible time.
Okay.
Using you as an example, right?
All right.
Your business mind is really lends well to you understanding the principles of trading. Okay, the principles of trading. Now,
Mhm.
fine, jargon. Nobody really. The jargon is one thing, right? But
Yeah.
your business mind, you understand how money flows. Okay, how
Mm.
money flows. So
Yeah.
my job is to try to take that and put it into this context, so that you're able to make the most out of the financial markets, right?
Okay.
And I do see a lot of people who is just for the, it's just like, no, don't do this, it's not for you. But for the
Yeah.
most part, anybody can learn. Anyone can learn. It's just a question of whether it's the right time based on what's going on in their life. If, you know.
If you have an idea of like before you know make that transactional agreement with that specific person, if that person is actually going to be able to do the work and obviously have
Yeah,
an outcome that you need.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I
Okay,
make that
cool.
assessment. And the admittedly, I like working with the sharper minds.
Yeah.
It's normal for any teacher who wants to work with someone with the highest level of ability.
Hmm.
But I do think I'm fairly patient in understanding in helping people with a who go a little bit slower. You have to be. You have to be
Yeah.
patient. You have to
Okay.
be.
All right, but let's go back to the beginning. So obviously with you made a decision. Yep, that's it. I want to do this for a living.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the first thing? I think it's really good for the audience to understand, like, how you start to generate the the interest and the customer base, because that's really it. You only have a business when you have customers. So
Correct.
how do you get your customers? How do you go about doing so? And especially within a field where it's very skeptical about, that form of education. People are like, oh, you're just here trying to sell me a course.
Right.
That it'll be interesting to see how you went about doing it.
So I started in what I found was a really interesting way. I made the decision. I want to be a trading educator. I love it. I like teaching it. I love talking about it. I think I explain things fairly well. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe I can even build a business around this. How do I get started?
Mm.
And I don't know, maybe I was dreaming one night when you kind of get into relaxation mode, maybe in the bath or whatever, you're just kind of in your kind
Yeah.
of tranquil state. I think they call it theta. You go into theta state, whatever one of those
Okay.
it is. And something like it was almost audible. It was like weird, Joel. It's like it wasn't audible, but
Yeah.
it was a clear, it was almost like it was audible, like in my mind. Something said, be who you want to become. And I saw it.
Okay. Yeah.
Be who you want to, and then the B was the same size, become. So becoming is a function of being. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, nah, man, that's mad.
Yeah. Okay.
Be who you want to become. So I was like, mad. I was like, wow, where did that come from? Where did I hear that? Yeah.
So we had a premonition.
Yeah. It was like weird.
Okay.
So I thought about that for a couple of days. Be who you want to become. Be who you want to become. I just thought about it. I mean, I just have to do it then. That's what the thought was. I just have to do it. And that called up one of my girls. And
Oh, God.
I said, listen, you ever thought about trading? You ever thought about learning? She says, yeah, I've always been interested. I'm never going to be a trader, but I've always been interested. So I taught her for free from the beginning, and I'm
Okay.
a million times better now than I was then. But I just said, come, let me show you. And then I
Mm.
found someone else. I said, come, let me show you. And then I joined a networking organization. Many people would have heard of it. It's called BNI.
Okay.
And I started advertising my services as a trader. I got one customer, another customer, and it just started to roll from there. But I
Okay.
realized that one of the most important things for my business was marketing. And so very early on, I got involved in Facebook marketing
Yeah.
created some ads, set it through at Facebook marketing, and got a steady stream of clients, emails coming to my CRM, and I would just call all of them. You registered your interest, you registered the interest, and I just started to pick up clients,
Yeah.
like that. So now our marketing is much more sophisticated. We have multiple adverts running right now on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Our funnel works by taking that ad into a
Yeah.
form. The client fills out some questions on that form, and it
Yeah.
filters into a VSL, which is a video sales letter. So in that VSL, I think it's like a 9 or 12 minute VSL where I talk about, the model is wow, not how. I learned that from a great marketing coach called John Pemberthy. He's got a company called Ad Clients. There's a plug for John.
I'd
Clients,
lie. Yeah.
absolutely fantastic organization. One of his methodologies was wow, not how, which is amaze them in the video sales letter, give them really, really good content, but not enough that they can actually execute on it by themselves. So it's like
Mhm.
a bait, right? This is how it's
Yeah.
supposed to work. This is what you're supposed to do, but you
Mhm.
don't go into when you're supposed to do it and the exact methodology of how. And what that VSL does, it attracts people into a sales call. And we've now got a dedicated salesperson whose diary is filled with calls on a day-to-day basis, and he just filters out which clients are going to be appropriate for us and which ones are probably not at the right stage to join our community. We're happy to turn people away if they're not the right type of person,
Yeah.
but what
That's
it
good.
means is that a year or two ago, 18 months ago, the problem we had in this business was getting eyes to see what we do. And it was like,
Mhm.
man, we've got such a great product here. The initial Facebook marketing that we're doing is okay. How do we get more eyes on the business? So we
Yeah.
went through this coaching program, paid a lot of money for the coaching program. It was absolutely fantastic. Improved our marketing funnel. Now we're getting eyes looking at the business, and there are other problems that are being created now that eyes are looking. Problems
Yeah.
of how do we deliver the best possible service to everybody that comes in? How do
Mhm.
we stay organized? How do we grow it? How do we grow a team? These are all kind of things I'm thinking about. How do I track the money? How does everybody buy into the culture of what we're doing? Not just the employees or the staff that are working with, but the students. How does everybody buy into that culture? So we've gone from a problem of not having enough eyes on the business to now
Yeah.
having enough eyes and thinking carefully about delivery. You know what I mean? How do we actually
Yeah.
deliver this in a really strong way?
Funny enough, on your start of the conversation, which was when you started about the steps, which I focused on, is that you called up one of your girlfriends as friends,
Yeah,
and you offered the service for free,
yeah,
which is key. I think a lot of people don't seem to realize that if you want to build your skill, you know, and therefore offering your services for free is such a way of allowing you to do so, learn something. I did a lot of voluntary
yeah,
things when I was starting in my career, especially when it came to IT, because especially if I wanted to try and get a job.
yeah.
I had no experience, but volunteering, if you can, obviously, I know everyone's circumstances is different, but volunteering was massive. And you said actually at the start of it, it was so key for you because it actually helped you to get better at educating, at teaching. And I
It's
think
huge.
I think that's a key thing. It's not a gimmick. It really is a thing. When people say invest in yourself, it really is a thing. You really need the biggest investment is always going to be in yourself. And
Correct.
I'm not saying that as a cliche thing. So
No, you're
what
right.
what you did at the start on that early journey was obviously educate yourself in not necessarily saying on the skills you have, but you had to get another skill. What was the other skill? Educating and teaching, knowing how to deliver, seeing if that worked. And you, by doing that by free, enabled you to obviously get better at it. And with you getting better, and therefore you were able to consistently hold your clientele. That's the key. Marketing is massive. Yeah, I do understand that, but
Mm.
it's sustainability. Do they believe in the product and do they want to consistently give you that subscription? That's it. The first thing you did was offer your services for free, because you wanted to build up your educational side of it, your teaching side, but to develop that skill, and then that opened the doors for something else, and that's the key thing.
And
Why I heard there.
remember the reason why that was, Joel. It was because of this premonition or whatever it was that said, "Be who you want to become." For anybody that is watching this, is thinking about starting a business, Joel is saying it in one way: offer your services for free, right? Go out and
Yeah.
find who you can give away this service to, because not only does it prove that you've got something that people want, this is the other
Yeah.
key, Joel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It proves that you've got something that people want if you're giving it away for free
Yeah.
at the start. But you are 100% correct. I became a better teacher week by week by week. I'm still improving. I had a lesson this morning and I explained something that I explained all the time in a slightly different way. And I said out loud to the student I was with, I said, you know what, I'm getting better at this. I said it out loud.
I
I said
love
it out
that.
loud. It came out of my mouth, Joel, right? I explained it in a different way. And I'm like, right. I said, right, I'm getting better at this.
Yeah.
Listen to this explanation. So you always, or even now, I'm 3-4 years in, right?
Yeah.
I'm still getting better and improving. But
Mm.
that first premonition of be who you want to become,
Yeah.
and what it meant to me was start.
Yeah.
Man, Joel, listen,
Stop.
you see these conversations. The reason why we started to do this podcast is
Yeah.
that me and you are both so passionate about businesses and what we call small business, startup businesses at this stage.
Mm.
You know, loads of people want to have a side hustle.
Yeah.
One of the pieces of advice which is so valuable for people wanting to be an entrepreneur, wanting to be a business, is you just have to start. You
Yeah.
have to just find a way to start moving
Mm.
somehow or another. And
Yeah.
I always say that when you start walking, the road appears in front of you. You walk in and you're blind. There's no road out there. But as
Yeah.
you start
Definitely.
walking, it's like imagine a video game with video goggles, right? And
Yeah.
you're walking. There's no ground, you're no ground. But every step you take, the ground starts appearing in front of you. This
Yeah.
is a real clue, and that was my journey. Be who you want to become. I just found a friend. I'm like, listen, let me show you how to do this thing, and
But
that's
it's
it.
true, and I think everything you just said is valid. So what's been difficult if you have, obviously because you're doing the marketing at the moment, you're getting the salespeople, the person who does the selling for you, he kind of filters out who's a possible potential candidate and someone who's not because of the customer, not candidate, sorry.
Mhm.
Um, is it difficult convincing people to trust you? What's your steps to kind of like, okay, cool. Um, this is the path you should be taking.
So I think it's a brilliant question. And then one of the reasons why I think a salesperson or a sales team is so important for small business is because it's so much easier for somebody else to sell you than it is for you to sell yourself, right?
Okay.
So
All right.
psychologically. So when I was doing the sales calls, I'm having to convince somebody about me, which is okay. But I think people are always a little bit more skeptical when you're saying great things about yourself or when you're saying how great your company is versus a salesperson, which is like, listen, I'm here. Yes, I'm here and I'm a salary, but you need to meet this guy. This guy's done this. He's been
Okay.
here. He knows this.
Okay.
This is what people are saying about him. This is his background. This is his work. Can you believe he worked at this company? How many people do
Mm.
you know that have ever worked in this company? It's so much easier. So now, when that individual comes and I have a face to face with them, we do that face to face in one of two ways. If our sales guy is George, if George closes the sale by himself, then we will have an introductory meeting with the client. Hey, I'm Leon. How you doing? This is your journey. George has told me a lot about you. Great to meet you. Welcome to the community. This is what we're going to be doing. All right. Sometimes that client needs a little bit of additional reassurance before the close of the sale. So George will book a meeting in my calendar for an introduction, a pre-introduction before the close.
Yeah.
And when that pre-introduction happens, everything that Georgie says, I just back it up. I know what he's going to say. I just back it up. It's
Mm.
like one gives the jab, the other one, and then I come and give the right hook. I say, listen, I'm going to leave you with George now. It's been great to meet you. I can trust him completely. He's going to handle the rest of the sales process, and I look forward to working with you. And I hit exit, and I leave the call, Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I leave the call,
Yeah.
and that motion of like, you don't have access to me forever. Okay,
Yeah.
so here
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am. I'm leaving the call right now.
Yeah.
If you want more access to me, sign up with George. It's a good tag team to have. It really makes a huge
Yeah.
difference.
I'm not discouraging what you're saying. I think there's an element of truth to that. And then I think, all right, so for example, you were doing the sales calls first. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Were you good? Or were
I,
you
I
rubbish and you thought it get better over time? When you started selling, yeah,
yes.
were you rubbish? And then you got better.
I'm in a fortunate position now. I've done sales even as part of my career in the city. So my
Yeah.
job was like a sales job. So I've always had a sales mindset. So I was
Yeah.
okay at it. But I'm not a great salesperson. Like George is a great salesperson.
So that's because you were selling for someone else.
Correct. You're right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when you were selling for yourself, have you
Yeah.
improved on that?
I definitely got better. I
Cool.
definitely got better at selling
Yeah.
when I was selling myself. Yes.
Cool. Within business, which I always believe, there's an element that you have to do each role to understand the role itself to be able to then therefore explain it to someone who you're recruiting to do it on your behalf.
See, I like this, Joel. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
This
So
is good. This is good.
so where you're having a conversation with George, yeah, when you bring him on, you have an idea, conception of what you want. Now, what he will do is obviously bring you innovative ideas, which is good because that's what you want. That's what you're
Right.
paying for. Yeah.
Right. Right.
You're not hiring someone because you want them to do exactly what you're doing.
All right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've already educated your idea of like how you want yourself to be represented by someone else. Okay. So it's very, very important that you do it first before you say, all right, cool, I'm going to bring someone on board.
Joel, I like this. And you know what? Listen to this, and for everybody watching as well. For somebody who's further ahead in business or had a business longer than I have, I listen to you. I listen to what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I listen to
Yeah.
what you're saying. However,
Yeah.
however,
Go on.
I love the idea of putting people in their position. I love it. And I think I said this to you when we
Yeah.
first took George on board.
Mm.
I'm like, yo, Joel, I remember saying it to you, Joel, you know what I realized about putting him on board is that when you put people in their positions, everything just flows the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. We, as entrepreneurs, we should have, I say it like this, an idea. I want to have an idea about what the marketing team are doing.
Mhm.
But for me, I just want a high level idea of what it is you're doing. I want to know key terms, key phrases, key metrics that we need
Mhm.
to measure. But other than that, I'm happy for you to do it.
Yeah.
George, key terms, key metrics. This is what we're aiming at. These are our targets. Other than
Mhm.
that, you do it. I'm the guy. I just want to manage everything and
Mhm.
know a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. But I don't want to be the person who has to step in and do the marketing if the marketing guys drop off. I don't want to be that person. Yeah.
And that's the thing. There'll be because you are your biggest salesperson
Mm-hmm.
because it's yours.
Mm-hmm. But how do you
That's
grow a
it.
big team, Joe? How do you grow a big company, bro?
For example, you've got the salesperson, yeah, and he's going to show you his work. Now, what the fact you have to look at him as like, okay, does he believe in the corporation, in the business? Is he all on board? Is he doing things above and beyond? Yeah. And then therefore you build trust, and then this person knows how to execute the way you would like, and that's how you build. You have to believe in the team, but then you have to show them the way first. It's called modeling behavior. Yeah.
Mhm.
He's going to then represent you. And then when he wants to start hiring people, because you don't want to be in a hiring process, the responsibility will be down on him. If he hires someone rubbish, that's on him.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
showing him what to do. You're modeling to him exactly how to hire, recruit, and give him an idea of the vision. You're the lead. I'm giving you a vision of where the direction I want you to go to. And then once you do that, then therefore that person has then the authority to go on and do and execute your ideas and plans.
But how much
So
of that person's job do you actually have to be able to take up if they drop off? And this is what I'm trying to avoid, right?
mm,
I'm thinking in as big a scale as I possibly can,
yeah,
knowing that a successful business is a business that operates without me in it,
yeah,
like
100%.
without me doing it.
Yeah,
That's how I'm thinking.
definitely.
So to that extent, I set the culture. I think that's what you're talking about here. I
Mm,
set the culture. I set the direction of travel for the business. But as much as I want to have a little bit of a knowledge about marketing, a little bit of a knowledge about sales, my expertise is in trading, as in and in communicating trading. and everything else is let me just see let me make sure the business runs. Let me check my metrics. Let me check my numbers.
But you're going to have to change your mindset because you want to be a business, you want to be an entrepreneur. So you have to know about other things, regardless. It doesn't work like that. If you want, if you need to have an understanding of every idea. All right. So the where you're envisioning yourself, how you want to be, you're basically saying, because this is that structure, like, so you're the director at the moment, yeah?
Yeah.
You're the director. So where you want to be is hiring a director.
Correct.
That's where you're basically saying, no, you're going to replace me. You're going to be the director. You're going to be the managing director.
Yes.
You're accountable to me. I'm not going to talk to any of these staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're talking about how you want things to be, that's where you want to be. You actually want someone to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
It's you completely.
Yeah.
You have to understand aspects of what's going on, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to be kind of like a mini expert to a certain extent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then therefore,
Yes, I think we're saying the same thing. I think we are.
Mm,
Um, I think we're saying the same thing because it's important for me to understand fake meta ads and to have a understanding of it. But
mm.
if the guys dropped, if the marketing guys dropped off, I wouldn't know how to. I wouldn't necessarily know how to carry on their job. Yeah.
That makes sense to a certain extent, to the point. But again, so the reason why you have to have at this early stage, you have to have an idea of what's going on because you're the one who's going to recruit the right person to do the role. If you don't know what you're recruiting, if you haven't got an idea what you're talking about, how are you going to
Yeah.
find the right person?
We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same
Yeah.
thing.
I understand where you want to be. Don't get me wrong, because I'll be honest with you, that's where I want to be. I'm in the Maldives, and
Yeah,
he's doing it.
we're playing golf somewhere, whatever it might be, trading on the beach.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
that's the shop.
we're saying the exact same thing. We're saying that, but I think what I'm taking from you
Mm.
is that you're saying don't jump there too early, and that in this stage of the business is that it's important to have a what I say a working knowledge and
You have to generate the revenue to hire people anyway.
correct.
The only way if you generate the revenue hiring people is it's you're giving up yourself to do so. Because I'm in a kind of predicament at the moment where my challenge at the moment is making sure two main core of my businesses are running without me.
Very good.
And to be fair, I have to do some restructuring. I may even have to let people go
That's
just to
so.
restructure the way I want to.
So let
Yeah.
me ask you this question because we say that we want a business that operates and works without us, and I really do.
Hmm.
But we also want we want value, we want inclusion, we want to be the leader of the company of some sorts. So how do you write yourself out of the business without making yourself insignificant?
Well, it's you. I think it's a choice. So when the things that you just mentioned about value, leadership, make people recognize. I think it's a choice. So it's do you really care about that or not? So this, for example, Jeff Bezos. Everyone knows, theoretically he's the one that actually owns Amazon or has shares in it. He doesn't. No one cares what he regarding the operation aspects of it. He has no involvement. He's
Right,
doing his own thing. You see what I
right,
mean? So, does he really care? Not really. As long as that revenue's coming through and he's making his money, he's living his lifestyle, buying it, doing his projects. Yeah. So I think it's more. It's not necessarily. I'm not overly fussed about if people think I'm responsible or not, if I'm the owner or not. I personally don't really care much about that. I'm at the stage now where I'm putting people accountability in leadership positions, so I don't have to deal with the noise. There's certain things I shouldn't be coming to me.
good. You're
I
right.
shouldn't be. I shouldn't be dealing with sickness, like people coming off sick, or I shouldn't. That's not what I want to deal with.
Right, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So it's that kind of things where what do you really want to be responsible for within your business? And for me, it's more operational aspect of thinking. Okay, cool. I want to oversee it, and then my mindset is that how can I make it grow? Yeah, that I just want to operational wise, I want to make it grow. How do I improve that? The day-to-day stuffs of it, I want my team to be able to deal with the day-to-day stuff. If there's a big problem, then for me, if I'm giving you a salary, take on the responsibility.
That's
And
correct.
you shouldn't be calling me for anything. Only if it's a massive problem.
Responsibility is such a great word, man. And this
Yeah.
is why I don't know if we were talking about this on the podcast last week or
Mm.
whether we were talking about it privately. It's the reason why I love hiring entrepreneurial minds because
Yeah.
entrepreneurial minds, they carry a level of responsibility that a non-entrepreneurial mind or employee mind just doesn't carry.
Yeah.
I love being around, some of the guys that we're working with right now. Man, bro, they are so young and hungry,
Mm.
and they just want to carry. They just want the responsibility of saying, okay, I did this, I built this, I contributed. And it's very, very, very different to the employee mindset of, well, I've done my 8 hours. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, I've done my 8 hours. I'll see you in the morning.
Remember, we did discuss it before. There's always a place for the two positions, and I think
Correct.
you
I
just
agree
have to
with
be
that. Yes,
careful
yes,
of
yes, yes.
the entrepreneurial mindset to a certain point, because then therefore it's not a negative thing. You have to have aspirations, and that's
Yes.
great. And
Yeah.
you have, but again, it's not with an employee point of view. You have to give them a growth. You have to give them a ladder to climb, something
Road.
to aspire to, a
Right.
roadmap. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Because or they get stale, just
Yes.
like you would get stale. So
Yeah,
then
that's
therefore,
right. That's
you
right,
know,
Joel.
so you're constantly thriving. But
That is so interesting to me because you're right. You're going to get to the point at some point in the journey where
yeah,
where what you need is exactly the type of person which I just described, which is someone who comes in, does
yeah.
what they need to do, doesn't cause any problems, and then is just out. You're just out the door.
All right.
I
So
think.
you've got a three man team at the moment,
Well,
or
we've
maybe
got
a 4-man team.
well, we've kind of got a 4.5 man team now since we last spoke.
Okay, great. So
So
what's the hiring process like for you? Because obviously now you're hiring to a certain extent, where therefore you're trying to find the right person to help your business and help it grow. So what's your process like? What's your steps like? What's your thinking behind that?
So, I kind of divide the business into sections in my head. So the core part of the business I think of as delivery, which is what the client experiences. And you don't have a business if you're not delivering what your clients want, right? So that's the core of what I think about from an internal perspective. Then we've got marketing, then we've got sales, then we've got operations, then we've got accounts. That's how it kind of works in my head at the moment.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
delivery, marketing, sales, operations, accounts. So I've put myself in charge of delivery because, that's number one, that's my skill set for now. And we've hired somebody there to ensure that we can scale. So that now that eyes are on the business, as we were talking about earlier, we need people in the delivery position so that as customers start coming, there's always somebody that can handle their questions, their queries, or their classes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So let's make this clear to the audience as well. So are you employing them, or are they contractors,
every single one of
self-employed?
them is a contractor. Everyone is a contractor.
All right.
Just because of where we are in the business right now, I'm not ready for the responsibilities of employers' national insurance and PAYE.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we've done it all as a contract for now. So we've hired one teacher on the delivery side. We've got a volunteer who helps out on that, and some 1.5 members here. Right, one that's fully paid and one who's helping out until such time as the business can afford to pay him.
Yeah.
On the marketing side, my son is my business partner,
Mhm.
so he kind of runs the marketing side, but outsources that to a company. So that's done externally through a company.
Okay.
So we haven't hired a full-time marketer. Again, it's something I would really, really think about at some point to pay somebody to be full-time marketing, which is ads, which is content creation, which is video editing. In the industry that we're in of online coaching,
Yeah.
it's as big as anything, it's as important as anything else.
Yeah.
But at the moment, that marketing is outsourced to an external company.
Okay.
If we can
And
hire,
and and regarding that, is that company doing well? Is it worth the money?
they're doing well. We've tried a few companies, and again, I lean on Jude, my son, for this. I ask him all the time: are they doing well? Do they know their stuff? Are they as good as anybody else that we've tried? Are they pushing things forward? Are they entrepreneurially minded? Are they driving this in the direction that we all want it to go? And his answers are always yes, right? And not only that, he kind of gets on with them. So we're happy with that team at the moment. The sales we hired actually first, we hired first because he's a great person and a great employee and really, really good at his job. And we don't want to miss the opportunity to have you in the team. So let's go. And
Yeah.
actually, it's a result of his sales work, why we're having to employ, because he's bringing people into the business like, oh my god, all right, what do we do now?
Yeah,
We,
yeah,
we need, right? And
yeah,
obviously with sales comes income, so you start to say, okay, how do we redivert some of the income that's coming in? So me on delivery, we've hired one person here. Outsourced marketing, team member, although it's all contract, a team member for sales. Operations, I handle that, which is budgets, spreadsheets, planning, forecast, actuals. I handle that. And accounts, we handle that externally as well. Where we'll hire next, and where this half a person that we're talking about, he's in operations, working closely with myself and Jude. His responsibilities I've asked him to do is to create efficiencies using tech and AI in our business. So scan the whole business. Again, another amazing kid. He's like 20, he's in his 24, 23. He's 21. I remember that. He's 21, an amazing guy, right?
yeah,
He came in, has asked a million questions about the business, a million questions, went away, created a flowchart, right? This is my understanding at the moment. This is where the business is right now, okay? Am I right? Is this where the business is right now? We spent a whole day on, is this where the business is right now? I said, yes, this is where the business is right now. He says, okay, cool, I'll see you tomorrow. He's come back, right? He
yeah,
says, okay, this is where the business is right now, and this is what you want it to be, right? After the discussion, is this what you want it to be? Yeah. I said, yeah, good, this is amazing. This is what it was, this is what you want it to be. Okay, cool. He's gone away and created a full list of priorities and said, okay, this is what I'm going to work on. This is my job. You're working on this. I'll plug this into that. We'll plug this in that. And I'm like, wow, this kid is 21 years old,
yeah,
bro. Yeah.
yeah,
So I think we're hiring correctly at the moment. My fear is I've always heard of businesses that grow too fast. They hire too quickly, or they make the wrong hires in the wrong places. I've heard of businesses that do that. And
yeah.
I don't want to be that one. But I think what we're doing is really good. So the team looks like 4.5 people right now. We've got Jude, who's my son. We got the additional trading teacher, and plus a volunteer in the trading delivery team. Then I've already said George is the sales guy, and we've got another guy coming on to help with operations. So it's starting to look like a decent team now, bro. It's starting to look like a really
Okay,
decent team.
that's good. You obviously marketing is always a big thing. That's massive. You obviously you've hired well with the salesperson. That person's generating you leads, and that's what you need. You need leads, and you need quality leads as well. So that person's doing. George is doing his job. I think he's getting value for money. The next thing I see of value will always be the educator. So that's the key for you is getting real good educators. And it's funny because obviously with the two sides of my business, one is obviously doing IT support and the other one's actually educating children and teachers
Yes.
in the computing curriculum. So I have to hire educators.
Right.
I've been
Right.
recently hiring educators all since the last year. I must have hired about 5 now because of the
Wow.
expansion of the business. But yeah, so that's key. And with hiring, and when you're very labor intensive when it comes to hiring, you'll always have some problems.
Yeah.
Just the nature of it as human beings. I actually think your biggest challenge will be educators. Yes.
Wow. Really good point. Really good point. And we are on the hunt and on the scour for educators in our team. Like
Mm.
for anybody watching this that has a real understanding of trading markets, you fancy yourself as a career as a trader, give us a call. LB Leon Brown at Elevation Trading.
Cool. Anyone who wants to trade and teach education. But yeah, all right. So what's been the hardest part about from leadership? Yeah, because obviously at the moment now, it's not just you by yourself. You're basically responsible and you're leading people.
I think for me, it is the transition from being a generally friendly, easygoing, I don't want to say happy-go-lucky, but I'm light-hearted. It would be the right way, right? A
Yeah,
light-hearted individual who just wants to have fun. I want to have fun, Joel. I just want to enjoy my day. I just want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to joke. I just want to enjoy my life and enjoy my work. Right?
yeah,
I don't want to be too serious. Whilst I take my work very, very seriously, I just like to have fun, bro. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, of course, yeah,
However, there is a serious side to business and leadership where you just have to put on a slightly different cap, which is, okay, it's no messing now. It's like, please do this, make sure it's done. Or no, we can't do it that way. All right. Now I know this is easy for you and this is
mm.
comfortable for you, but that has to stop now. It's causing problems, or right. So the challenge for me that I'm experiencing again in my own leadership journey right now is just my natural inclination just to be happy, man, and chilled, and let's have a good time, to being putting on a really serious, what's the word, authoritative hat on, and saying, look, okay, just make sure it gets done like this, cut this out, don't do that anymore. There's a
Okay.
dissonance between my natural inclination
Okay.
and the necessities required of me as a leader. Okay, I can't be as carefree as I'd like to be in this leadership position, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
So
Does that mean it's not natural for me?
okay. All right. I get it. If it's not
Yeah,
natural for you,
yeah,
I think you kind of grow into it. I don't think you become this like natural leader. I think you kind of grow into leadership positions, and you need to understand people more. There's a psychological aspect of understanding people, reading people.
yeah.
Because you want to, with leadership positions, it's not necessarily a concept of having a challenging conversation. It's about inspiring as well.
I,
Being innovative. You
I
get the
like that.
best out of the people you want. So there's a lot of psychology based on that.
That's
And
really
that's
good.
and that's why hiring is key, because you're trying to find the right traits, um, then therefore come into your team and improve your team
Yeah,
and have
yeah,
an
yeah.
impact on your team. Do you find challenging conversations difficult?
I tell you what I find difficult. I find unnecessary conflict difficult.
Okay.
I'm a very clear thinker.
Hmm.
All right. And although I do have this kind of, going streak, I'm very logical. I'm very, like, all my words, everything I speak it's gone through a filtering process. And so when I say something, I know the process it's been through to actually to speak. I don't speak willy nilly.
Yeah.
So I don't find I don't find real, genuine, difficult conversations hard. I just find useless, difficult conversations hard. It's like, just do what I'm telling you to do. It doesn't have to be an
Yeah.
argument. Don't,
Yeah.
don't question don't question me on my thought process, in the sense of, I've thought about this. So if you want to
Yeah.
understand more, if you want to understand more about the reasons why, I'm happy to explain.
Hmm.
But don't squash the idea, because I've actually gone through the process of thinking about this really, really carefully. So I don't
Yeah.
mind tough conversation. I don't mind tough conversations. I just don't like unnecessary conflict or unnecessary argument. I'd rather, have a kind of a peaceful, environment. I think. I think, like, the real, you know, natural entrepreneur might say, "No, I've got no problems with this. No, 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 no. I'm happy to have an argument, son. Let's get. I'm happy to have a go. Let's have a go."
I
But I don't
think
know. It's just that's just not me. I don't want to. I don't want to. That's not how I operate.
I think you learn more about yourself in this journey. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think also uh, you will start to separate emotion. It's sort of like emotional decisions or
Mm,
emotional interactions.
good. 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 Good.
I think for me, with what I've kind of learned is this: will this help the business?
Yeah. Will it make the boat go faster? I'll
Yeah,
send you a link, actually, to that. I'll send you the link, and for anybody that you can attach it, I think, into the comments
yeah,
of the video. Will it make the boat go faster? Is a really, really good video to watch, because that's the question. That's what you've just said. Is
yeah.
it going to make everything more efficient, more smooth? So yeah, great question. Is it going to improve things, and will it make the boat go faster?
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to call it one or two, second episode. So
Number two in the
number two.
books, Joel. Number two in the books. What are we going to talk about next week? So many topics.
No idea.
So many topics. We can talk about niching down. That's
Yeah,
a really
yeah, yeah. Niching down, which is good. I think that's a good one to talk about actually. Uh, How significant is that?
broad. Do you want to go
Yeah,
broad or niched?
not niche. Yeah,
We can focus more on marketing. We can. There's loads of stuff we can talk. We'll talk about it offline.
yeah,
There's loads.
yeah.
There's loads. Have a good one, man.
Have a
And
good
I'll
one. Hope you guys have a good one as well, audience, and we'll see you in the next one.
take care, everybody.
All right, one.